This is Titans football with head coach Nick Hart on 89.1 The Bash. Our weekly chat with the Gibson Southern Titan head football coach is brought to you by these underwriting sponsors: A&B Contracting, A&T Concrete Supply, AgriGold, Gerald and Trudy Bledsoe, Carts Gone Wild, Consolidated Grain and Barge, Cox Family Eye Care, Daylight Farm Supply, Deaconess Women's Hospital, DuBois County Garage Doors Incorporated, Freudenberg Mini Mart, Hobstadt Summerfest Incorporated, in memory of Darwin and Eric Kalis, Jackson Seed Service, JL Farm Equipment, Kiesel Enterprises, Kissel Farms, Lewis Plumbing and Heating, Lowry Company, Marshall Disposal, Mayflower Gardens and Gifts, Mytech Systems, Pole Concrete Construction, Princeton Auto Park, Reinbrecht Homes, Rusty Reeves FC Tucker MG Realtors, Sandy's Pizza, Shoe Carnival, South Gibson Grain, T. Konya Distributing, 10 Barge Seed and Turfgrass Supplies, Total Seed Solutions, United Fidelity Bank, Vertical Tile, and by Ziliak Enterprises. Titans football with head coach Nick Hart starts now on 89.1 The Bash.
Welcome to Titans football with head coach Nick Hart. I am Bob Bowser, and joining me is head coach Nick Hart. And coach, your Titans are getting ready to begin the 2016 campaign this Friday night at Forest Park. So let's first get familiar with the players on the team and your coaching staff.
All right, Bob. Hard to believe that it's that time of year again, but
well, and hey, and on top of that, we've got a whole new place where we're doing all this broadcasting for the show, and 89.1 The Bash is the place to be right now for Titans football.
Yeah, it's awesome. I think this is the first time that Titan football has had a radio home, and it's just really cool that people that can't make it to a game or even people at the game can listen to you guys and hear the broadcast, and just another great platform for our program and our kids to get some exposure.
All right, so let's learn a little bit about who the Titans are and who your coaching staff is.
Okay, on our coaching staff, Brian Snow is our offensive line coach and the associate head coach. Chris Barrett is the wide receivers coach. Dan Deere also coaches wide receivers, and he coaches our kickers. Trevor West is our running backs coach and special teams coordinator. Brooke Clayton coaches a defensive line for us. Kerry Maurer is the outside linebackers coach. Darren Harmon is the inside linebackers coach, and he's also our JV head coach. Kyle Buss is our defensive coordinator, and he coaches the defensive backs. Tony Butler is our head freshman coach, and a new addition to our staff this year, Dylan Hyman is our freshman defensive coordinator. And last but certainly not least, our strength and conditioning coordinator is Jeff Sellers.
All right, well, that's quite the coaching staff there. Of course, when you've got as many players as you do have, you've got to have a lot of coaches, and that gives a lot of opportunity for some small group time.
It does, and especially since we're two platoon and we split practice into offense and defense, it's important to have a bunch of coaches so we can get everybody coached up. And we're really fortunate that we've been able to keep that core coaching staff together. Going on our 5th year now, and we really know how to work with each other and get things done. So we're thrilled. I think we have one of the best staffs around, and those guys work really, really hard to help get all the kids prepared on Friday nights.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the players that Jason and I are going to talk about on Friday nights right here on 89.1 The Bash.
All right, we'll go down just in numerical order here. Lucas Ploss is a sophomore linebacker. Andrew Smith is a sophomore defensive back. He'll play corner for us. Caleb Carpenter is a senior safety. Luke Miller is a senior linebacker. Bailey Neufelder is a junior cornerback. Ben Butler is a freshman running back, defensive back. Bo Lamy is a sophomore defensive back. Chandler McKee is a senior wide receiver, and he'll also be handling the kicking duties for us. Landon Meyer is a junior wide receiver linebacker. Cody Hupp is a sophomore wide receiver defensive back. Dawson Witt is a sophomore quarterback and wide receiver. Mitchell Spindler is a freshman running back and safety. Isaac Sellers is a junior quarterback. Tyler Gady, junior, he plays safety for us. Logan Lewis is a junior wide receiver. Caden Engler is a junior defensive back. Bryce Williams is a sophomore kicker. Clay Singleton is a sophomore linebacker. Isaac Cox is a senior linebacker. Seth Kissel, senior as well, plays tight end. Cooper Willis, senior linebacker. Dylan Stefanich is a junior running back. Trace Matchell, junior linebacker. Austin Ziliak is a senior defensive lineman. Garrett Martin is a sophomore linebacker. Wes Obermeyer is a junior receiver. Jacob Fireline, a sophomore linebacker. Devin Montgomery is a junior defensive lineman.
Now, Coach, I'm gonna give you a little break here for a second. You've got a lot of kids on this team already.
We do.
And you know what? The hot button topic that I wanted to hear right away was who was doing the kicking duties, because I love the kicker, love that kicking position, especially over the last several years. You've had some outstanding kickers, but Chandler McKee is going to be the kicker.
Yeah, Chandler is, and he's kind of been our backup for the last 3 or 4 years now, as Mockabee and DeWeese have kicked for us, and he's just got he's got a great leg. Maybe not like the booming leg that Mockabee and DeWeese had on kickoffs. He's going to kick it between the 5 and the 10. But from inside 37 to 40 yards on field goals, we feel really comfortable with him. He's extremely accurate and hits the ball, the exact same every single time. It's those other guys that, using a golf analogy, might have had big drives and they're great kickers for us, but Chandler's like the boring golfer that hits it 240 right down the middle of the fairway every single time. And so he's going to do a fantastic job. He punted for us last year, and he's a kid too that he's such a great competitor. If a game's ever on the line and we need a kick to win us a ball game, I know he's going to come through clutch for us. So we're really excited about what he's going to bring to the special teams.
All right, so let's learn some more about the rest of the Gibson Southern Titans then.
Kirk Odom is a junior offensive lineman. Sean Glazer, a sophomore defensive lineman. Brendan Bittner is a sophomore offensive lineman. Zach Nirenburn, a junior O-lineman. Connor Green, a junior O-lineman. Sebastian Vincent, a sophomore defensive lineman. Hanner Dobbins is a sophomore offensive lineman. Mark Sorg, a sophomore offensive lineman. Devin Mills, a junior defensive lineman. Hunter Mykrantz, a senior defensive lineman. Caleb Stiesel, junior nose guard for us. Ryan Sensmeyer, junior offensive tackle. Grant Holtzmeyer is a junior center. Damon Clem, sophomore offensive lineman. Chris Campbell, a senior. He plays center for us. Dakota Weiss, a 3-year starter coming back for us, is a senior offensive lineman. Dylan Bennett, senior offensive lineman, plays right or left guard for us. Joseph Stinson is a sophomore defensive lineman. Jacob Cox, a junior D lineman. Jess Robinson, a junior offensive lineman. Patrick Noble is a sophomore O lineman. Cameron Crawford is a senior tight end. Ben Davenport, a junior wide receiver. Nick Maurer, a junior wide receiver that plays in the slot. Blake Martin, a sophomore defensive lineman. Ashby Henning, a sophomore D lineman. And Brian Woolsey, a junior defensive lineman.
Well, Coach, you got several players on there, and I know last year was a big-time number, 30-plus seniors that your outstanding ball club lost to graduation. But right there, you just listed off. I don't even know how many players. I haven't gone through and counted them, looked through your list there, but I'm going to guess you got good numbers again out for football.
We really do. And our numbers are a hair down from last year, losing a big senior class. But our senior class this year is a little bit smaller. We got 12 seniors. But there's a lot of good football players in that class, and we're really excited about them, to be able to step up. They kind of been in the shadows the past few years, and excited for them to step up and take control of this football team and be great leaders for us.
Well, and quantity is good. Quality is even better.
Absolutely, and a thing I've said in a couple different interviews is, and people might not think I'm very smart, and they're probably right. But I think
well, we're not going to debate that here.
I think this is the deepest team that we've had, and not so much talent wise. We had some great football players last year, but depth wise at each position, some of the position battles we've had in the summer and into fall camp, and guys that aren't going to start for us, that we feel comfortable if there's an injury can come in and play and can still provide competition and try and win that spot as the year goes along, position by position. This is the deepest that we've been in my 5 years.
All right, well, Coach, let's give your voice a quick break here, as we need to thank some of the sponsors of Titans football with head coach Nick Hart, as you are listening to 89.1 The Bash and Titans football with head coach Nick Hart.
You're listening to Titans Football with head coach Nick Hart on 89.1 The Bash. Tonight's show is brought to you by the following underwriting sponsors: A&B Contracting, Gerald and Trudy Bledsoe, Cox Family Eye Care, Freudenberg Mini Mart, Jackson Seed Service, Kissel Farms, Marshall Disposal, Pole Concrete Construction, Sandy's Pizza, T. Konya Distributing, United Fidelity Bank, and by Vertical Tile. You love sports. You're your team's ultimate fan. Why not turn that passion into the ultimate career? Enroll now in the brand new Sports Marketing and Media program at Wabash Valley College. Learn how to use digital video and other media to add to the fan experience, how to engage fans on social media, and how to create excitement by hosting events and promotions. Get off the sidelines and into the game. Find out more about the WVC Sports Marketing and Media program online at www.iecc.edu or by phone at 618-262-8641. Fall classes begin August 18th.
Welcome back to Titans Football with head coach Nick Hart right here on 89.1 The Bash. So, Coach, this past Friday night, got to see my first ever Indiana football scrimmage game, so that was quite the intriguing situation for myself, as well as sitting there in the booth. And hey, I've got my new glasses, so officials beware. I can see numbers, and I can also now see officials all in HD clear vision. But, this past Friday night, you had your scrimmage game at home against Mount Vernon. What were you and the coaching staff able to take away from this game on the offensive side of the football?
Offensively, I thought our execution was really, really good, and there's a few things on film, little bitty things that we got to clean up as we head into Friday night. But I was, for this early in the season, with the lack of experience we have coming back, I was super impressed with our kids and the way they executed. I thought the tempo of the no huddle was very, very good. It's probably the best it's been for us all year. And I think when you get in those game situations, it's a little bit easier to get that tempo rolling as opposed to practice. So that was good to see in a game night scenario. And just very, very happy. I thought our twos came in and played very well. I know we'll talk about defense in a minute, but we really do treat this like an NFL team with its preseason game, where we want to get our young guys and our twos a lot of reps and just get our ones out there, get their feet wet on Friday night action and get them out while they're healthy, which, fortunately we were able to do. But our twos and threes throughout on offense and defense, I thought played exceptionally well. We're very dialed in, and, usually I get really mad in the scrimmages because, they just don't get as much work in practice as the ones, and some guys don't know where to line up, or they don't know, they forget a play or something. But all the way, 1 through 70, the players that played, I thought were dialed in and executed really well.
Well, and I looked at it from my standpoint, Isaac Sellers stepping in. When I saw him at the Maroon and Gold game, I saw him at the scrimmage game. When he throws the football, he's got more than enough arm at this level, and even probably the next level, in my opinion. And on top of that, he can run too. Yeah,
I think Isaac's playing phenomenal right now, and we knew he had the physical tools. I think the biggest adjustment when you become a varsity quarterback is the mental part of the game and your decision making. And I think his reads have been phenomenal. He only had 2 incompletions on Friday night. One of them was a throwaway, which goes back to decision making. He had pressure, nobody was open, he threw the ball away, and the other one got batted down at the line of scrimmage. So on his end, in our grading out, he was 100% completion percentage, because we're not going to count a throwaway on a good decision, and getting the ball batted down is not his fault. So he's playing phenomenal. I think our receiving core is playing really well, and I think going back to the scrimmage, one nice thing is that we had a really clean pocket the entire night and didn't face a lot of pressure. And whenever he can sit back and make those, that makes decision making a lot easier as well.
Well, and we don't want to just talk about Isaac on this show. I mean, some names that I was clearly with, and I know them from last year being with you throughout the show, looking at Chandler McKee and Stefanich.
Yep.
Did some running and catching of the football. Your backup quarterback, and I'll get these names, folks, so please bear with me, because I'll get to know these names just like the back of my hand. But your skill kids were very good. But I tell you what, the offensive linemen, I mean, I'm looking here at your 2-deep depth chart, and when I'm seeing Ryan Sensmeyer, Dylan Bennett, Chris Campbell, Dakota Weiss, Jess Robinson, Was Weiss on the starting line last year?
Yeah,
Dakota, that name's familiar to me.
Yeah, Dakota Weiss.
Weiss, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Weiss. He's started the past 2 years, so he'll be a 3-year starter for us going into this year. But you're right, Bob. I thought our offensive line, we had a great push the entire night, and then pass protection was great as well. I think that's one of those spots where, when I talked about our depth, you named those 5 guys. Zach Nierenburn is another player for us. He's going to rotate with Jess Robinson at that right tackle, and then Grant Holtzmeyer as well. We're really 7 deep there, where we feel confident with those 7 guys going into a football game that are very starter capable, and that's a great thing to have. We always want to have 7. You usually don't. 6 is a realistic goal, I think, because you're going to get banged up at that position. But to have 7 is truly a blessing, and those kids have worked really hard, and it's paying off for them because they're playing really good football.
Well, also Dawson Witt come in.
Yeah.
There were times I looked up and I'm like, okay, that's Isaac out there. No, it's not. It's number 12. He played very well, I thought, in the scrimmage game.
He did.
Your backup quarterback.
He did, and he played very well.
It's Dawson Witt, position.
Right? Yes, that's correct. I thought Dawson played really well at receiver too. It's kind of new to him. We moved him. He got a taste of it over the summer, and going into fall camp, we really made him full-time wide receiver. And so he's getting some quarterback reps still, but his main concern is wide receiver right now. So, just in 2 weeks, he's improved so much, and had a couple of really nice catches the other night, one for a touchdown. So very happy with the way he's coming along there. If you just look, stat-wise on Friday night, in the passing game, we had 3 touchdown passes and no interceptions with that first group. So, it's clicking along right now. We're making good decisions, and receivers, we're making a really good plays for Isaac as well.
Well, now let's go to the other side of the football, the defense, where I would say while there wasn't any one standout, you had 11 guys on the field that can flat get after it and run and hit. I was very impressed with the defense the other night.
I was too, and we do have a lot of things we need to clean up, and that happens. We're going through something that I'm not sure that I've ever seen or heard of, where you have to replace all 11 starters from a defense. So there's a lot of little things that we can still continue to improve on. But what I really liked was, we didn't tackle particularly well, but what I really liked is kind of what you were alluding to. There, if we missed the first tackle, there was 3, 4, 5, 6 guys there in pursuit, ready to make the play, and guys just flying around. And that's what I really liked about our defense. I thought we played really fast and got a lot of hats to the football on Friday. And so, that's a great starting point, and they've improved so much from the beginning of the year to now. It was a little grim there at the beginning of the summer on how we were playing defensively, but our coaches and players have worked really, really hard, and I think they can end up being a strength for us. So, like I said, we need to tackle a little bit better, and part of that's probably on me. We go a lot of one offense versus one defense in camp, and in fact, it's pretty much exclusively that. And so we do a lot of thud scrimmage to keep our one running backs and quarterbacks and wide receivers healthy, where we can still get good work. So we probably just haven't tackled as much as we should, and it's something that we're addressing this week and working on, and I think it's a problem for a lot of teams early, and it's just something we got to continue to improve on here as we head into Friday night.
Well, and that's the key too, and you beat me to the punch on it, because I was going to come at you with my next question. So now I'm lost and stuttering and stammering here. But I was going to mention probably the only thing I saw on defense was the at times the lack of the fundamental of wrapping up.
Yep.
Sometimes you had guys there, and that's a plus. First of all, you had guys there. That's great. But they needed to wrap up and finish the play, or at least hang on until someone else can come and clean it up. And I figured that's something you're going to do this week. But in teams I've had in the past, you might have to go back to those basics even mid-season.
Yep.
Because you just got a little lazy in a game and didn't wrap up. Those are things that it's non-contact, those things can be cleaned up every day.
Absolutely, and I think one of the big things when we went back and watched film that we didn't really catch with the naked eye on Friday night. We went back and watched film. It's not even really so much our technique. A lot of our missed tackles were poor angles, and especially in space, we attacked the wrong shoulder. We took really poor angles to it. One time, we had a linebacker, instead of staying inside out, he kind of over pursued, and then when the kid cut back, it made it a tough play on him. So we're going to work a lot on our angles this week and our pursuit angles and how we're getting there. Because I think if we would have gotten there with the correct angle, our technique was good. We just put ourselves in a bad position with the angle that we took. So we'll clean those up a little bit this week and be ready to go on Friday.
Well, and the key also, as we've talked about here, is the fact that your players got there. Mm-hmm. They made outstanding contact. You didn't allow a touchdown, Coach. I mean, you can't get any better than 0. And you were going up against the Mount Vernon quarterback that's been the quarterback, I know, for the last 2 going into his 3rd season as the starter. I mean, one of their better athletes on the team, Coach's son, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, Cam Meyer, he's a really good football player, and and I thought our defense really did a great job on Friday, and caused a couple turnovers along the way as well. And going back to the what we were talking about earlier, we pulled our ones a little bit earlier than they did, and I was really proud that our 2 defense kept them out of the end zone as well. So we can definitely get better in both sides of the football. But for our first night out going against a different team, I was very impressed with the way our kids played, and like you said, defense we definitely can tackle better, but we got there and we played so fast, and I think almost that might have been a little bit to our detriment, which I'd rather try and slow kids down a little bit than than trying to get them to speed up.
You can't speed them up.
You can't press that motor button in, and that's almost what it was. With our angles, it was a little bit of over pursuit. And it was, we were going too fast, and that's a good problem to have. We can pump those brakes, and so again, just I thought we're learning how to lead. When you lose 30-something seniors, leadership is one thing that comes into question, and we're learning how to lead. And one problem this team's kind of had as we've gone through camp and stuff here is, I think we have a great amount of talent, but when we're not excited and we don't have that energy, we're pretty darn average. And I thought our energy and excitement and enthusiasm and flying around was great on Friday. And if we can keep that rolling, we're gonna have a chance to do some good things.
Well, and I think for myself, walking out of there Friday night after things were over. And I even had a few people in the parking lot say, what'd you think and what'd you see and so forth. And I'm like, it's different. Last year's group was a polished group. Mm-hmm. This year's group is kind of raw and unproven on the varsity field, but still very good. Mm-hmm. Still very good. And saw those same kinds of qualities that can be there. It's going to just be a different style of game. I'm not talking the difference in your offense and your defense and the strategy. It's just going to be, it's a difference in kids.
Right.
And this group is still a very good group, and I see some things that's going to be very exciting on Friday nights.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think it's a group that we can really make bigger leaps and bounds throughout the season is what we were able to make last year. Going off your point of being a little raw and stuff, I think our level of improvement can be a lot higher throughout the season. And if the kids continue to buy in and come to work every single day, I think this team will look a lot different week 9, week 10 than what they do right now.
All right. Well, thanks for the insight, Coach. So in our next segment, let's talk about the Pocket Athletic Conference and your non-conference games on the 2016 schedule. But right now, we need to thank some of the sponsors of Titans football with head coach Nick Hart on 89.1 The Bash, or you may be listening via the free app on your cell phone.
You're listening to Titans football with head coach Nick Hart on 89.1 The Bash, brought to you by these underwriting sponsors: A&T Concrete Supply, Carts Gone Wild, Daylight Farm Supply, Deaconess Women's Hospital, Obstat Summerfest Incorporated, JL Farm Equipment, Lewis Plumbing and Heating, Mayflower Gardens and Gifts, Princeton Auto Park, Shoe Carnival, 10 Barge Seed and Turfgrass Supplies, and by Ziliak Enterprises. Hey Hoosiers!
Your attention, please.
Still deciding on where to start your college career?
Let me explain something to you, okay?
Wabash Valley College in Mount Carmel, Illinois is the place for you.
Say what?
Yes, I know WVC is in Illinois, but did you know we're just minutes away, closer than nearly every Indiana school?
Wow!
Plus, we offer a special tuition rate for Indiana students that's lower than nearly every Indiana school's in-state rate.
Unfreaking believable.
And the quality of education you'll receive at WVC is second to none.
Good, yeah, too good.
In fact, studies show students who attend WVC do as well, if not better, in their studies than those who enter the university as a freshman.
Holy smokes!
To learn more about what Wabash Valley College has to offer, call toll-free at 1-866-982-4322 to set up an appointment with one of our academic advisors, or check out the variety of degree programs available by logging on to www.wabashvalley.cc.
Sound good?
Yeah.
All right, then.
Welcome back to Titans football with head coach Nick Hart on 89.1 The Bash. All right, Coach, let's get down to business and talk the Pocket Athletic Conference and your non-conference games. Looking ahead here at week 1 for the PAC, Corden Central at Southridge. Southridge, one of those ball clubs that year in and year out, solid ball club.
Oh, they always are. They're extremely well coached. They've got a great program going over there, and you know my stance on this. I love our conference, and I think it's a great football conference. So anytime we get to our conference gets to step out and play another conference, I'm always pulling for our conference team to do well, and I'm sure they will on Friday night. So hopefully they come away with a win for the conference.
Then, of course, we have Evansville Bosse at Pike Central. Looking for Pike Central to pick it up a little bit this year.
Absolutely. They return a lot of guys and have Jalen Owens back, who's been a great running back for them. For it seems like the last 6 or 7 years he's been there. But again, just hoping, in these non-conference games that the PAC can come out and have a good showing. And, because the stronger the conference is, the stronger it makes all the teams in the conference. And so, we hope that all those teams can come out and perform well here week 1.
All right, and of course, Mount Vernon, the team that you just scrimmaged against Friday night, will be at Heritage Hills, so they're headed down there to the jungle, right?
Yeah,
the jungle.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's hope that Mount Vernon can't find its way out of the jungle.
That's right. And Heritage Hills, again, like Southridge, just another team that they're always going to be good, and they are. And Coach Wilkerson does and his staff do a great job, and their kids they know how to win. It's one of those programs that's won forever, and they know how to win and always find a way to. So again, go PAC.
All right, and of course, then you also have North Posey at South Spencer. That'll be the only Pocket Athletic Conference game of the week. Those two get to start right. Well, yeah, your game, of course.
Right.
We'll talk about that in the next segment. But as far as everybody else concerned here, North Posey, yeah, and I made my first mistake already here on 89.1, didn't I? But North Posey at South Spencer. I don't know what to think on this one here. This could be a barn burner.
I think I agree, and I think both teams are going to be much improved from last year, and I really think that that's one thing about our conference that's going to be better this year. Is I think us and Southridge and Heritage Hills really kind of separated ourselves from the pack last year, and it was really those three teams. I think South Spencer and North Posey and some of those teams are going to get a lot closer to the top, and they North Posey has, I think, 20 starters back. I read in the paper the other day. So they were a young team last year that ended up didn't win a lot of games in the regular season, but ended up making it to the sectional championship. I think they're going to be much improved. But South Spencer, I think they'll probably be without some guys. As Rockport Junior or Rockport Legion team is playing in the World Series right now. I know, just reading in the paper, a couple of those names are football names, so I know they're missing a couple guys. I don't know if they'll be back and able to play on Friday night or not. But that might end up being a factor in that ball game, because I think they're both teams that were really close last year, and I think are both going to be a lot better this year.
All right, and then, of course, Tell City at Perry Central. I really know nothing when it comes to Tell City or Perry Central. We'll learn some things this year, maybe.
Yeah, I know Tell City, had a rough season last year, but they were really young, and will be improved this year. And don't know much about Perry Central except they always seem to win. They always seem to be around, in the playoffs and stuff. So, and it's a county rivalry game. So, rooting for Tell City to get things started off right there.
Well, and of course, in the non-conference slate, you look at the what I have labeled as the Civil War, North versus South. You have North Gibson versus South Gibson. You also have Henderson, Kentucky, a new game on the schedule this year at Lucas Oil Stadium on September 10th. Looking forward to broadcasting that ball game out of Lucas Oil.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun, and it'll be a great experience for our kids. One of those lifetime memory type of things to be able to play in an NFL stadium. And obviously the ultimate goal is to be playing there Thanksgiving weekend, but to be able to have that experience that they can take with them for the rest of their lives, to be able to play in there is going to be great. And when we get there and get to that point, our message that week is I know that's going to be a big deal to get to play there. But we've already kind of planted that seed that winning that game will make that memory a lot better when you're telling it to your kids and your grandkids if you're able to go up and win that game. So we'll still have to take care of business that week, but that'll be very exciting. And then Princeton has a lot of star power back last year or from last year. A team that made it to the sectional championship and had a great year in the regular season as well. And Coach Shank just seems to be getting that program better every single year that he's there. So we know that will always be a battle playing against those guys. So I think our schedule is shaping up nicely and presents a lot of challenges through it, and which is great for us because the more challenges there are, the more it's going to prepare you, come playoff time, which is ultimately what the goal is, to be playing our best football come playoff time. So hopefully the schedule presents all those challenges that we see there right now here in week one. And will make us better as we go through it.
All right, Coach. Well, one more segment to go here, which means it is time to get the listeners ready for Friday night at Forest Park. But first, let's thank some of the sponsors of Titans football with head coach Nick Hart on 89.1 The Bash.
You're listening to Titans football with head coach Nick Hart on 89.1 The Bash. Tonight's show is brought to you by the following underwriting sponsors: AgriGold, Consolidated Grain and Barge, DuBois County Garage Doors Incorporated, in memory of Eric and Darwin Kalis, Kiesel Enterprises, Lowry Company, MyTech Systems, Reinbrecht Homes, Rusty Rivas FC Tucker MG Realtors, South Gibson Grain, and by Total Seed Solutions. Why should you attend Wabash Valley College?
This is the way society functions. Aren't you a part of society? Because if you don't want to be a part of society, why don't you just get in your car and move?
Okay, settle down. We just haven't convinced them yet.
You stubborn, stupid, silly man!
Now, there's no need for name-calling. All they need to know is that Wabash Valley College is unlike any college around. With small class sizes and our hands-on approach to learning, WVC provides the best experience possible to either enter the workforce or transfer to a four-year university. Don't be left out. Call toll-free at 866-982-4322. So, Kramer, how's that for a pitch?
All right!
Welcome back to Titans football with head coach Nick Hart, right here on 89.1 The Bash, or you may be using the free app to access the show on your cell phone. So, Coach, let's get it started with the Rangers from Forest Park. It's a 6:30 p.m. start this Friday night, and we will have the action live on 89.1 The Bash, with pregame at 6:15 p.m., and recent history showing that this matchup as 5-3 in favor of the Titans. But that's a history lesson. Let's get ready for this Friday night right here in the present. So what do you expect to see from Forest Park on the offensive side of the ball?
Well, on the offensive side, they run a lot of I formation, I pro, power, fullback trap, power pass, a little bit of, throwback old school I formation football coming right at you. And then, and again, this is what they've shown in a scrimmage. I'm sure Coach has a few more tricks up his sleeve for us. He usually does. But they also got in some, I call it like an old run and shoot formation with, two wide receivers and two tight slots and one running back. where they like to throw the ball out of that and do some jet sweep type stuff and that out of it. So they've shown us 2 formations so far. He's run a lot of split back stuff in the past. So we may see some of that on Friday night as well, and we'll prepare for that. And, early in the year, one thing I always like to have Coach Buss do too is because, people, and we do it as well, you keep some stuff, from the preseason, under your hat a little bit and then bring it out when you start keeping score is we'll just throw some random stuff in our scout cards this week to get for our defense just because, there probably is something that they didn't show in their scrimmage on film. And so, and we might guess wrong, but, we'll just throw some random formations in there just to kind of keep our kids fresh on what our automatic checks are in case we do see some of that stuff on Friday night.
All right, so let's go over to the defensive side of the ball for Forest Park. What do you expect to see them play against your offense?
Traditionally they're a 4-4 team, and then that's what they ran in the scrimmage as well. But last year they came out and ran a little bit of a 3-man front against us, a little bit of a 3-4. So we'll kind of prepare for both of those this week. But I really kind of expect to see the 4-4. That's where most of our focus is going to be because they jumped out of that 3-4 last year and got back in the 4-4 pretty quick. So we're going to prepare for that 4-4 this week. And again, kind of like we do with with the defense, we'll throw in a couple periods of that odd front, the 3-4, just to prepare our kids for it. So if it comes out on Friday night, it's not the first time that they've seen it. And the nice thing is we've been going against our defense for the past 2 months, and we run a 3-4, so the 3-4 shouldn't really spook us. It's actually, we're going to spend a lot of time this week getting ready for that 4-4 because we haven't seen that even front defense in quite some time. So they don't blitz a whole lot. They're going to play their defense and play it like they usually do and play straight up. So, we're looking forward to that challenge.
All right, so let's go over to the special team side. And this is the hardest part because in that scrimmage game, there probably, just like in yours, there wasn't any special teams that were taking place. Mm-hmm. So anything that you can recall from last year regarding their special teams, and what do you expect out of their kicking game?
We don't really know. That'll be a thing for us where we can in pregame, we'll be scouting how far their punter's punting and their kickoff guys are going and set up our cover, our return teams accordingly. And then we went back and scouted their kick formation and punt formation and stuff from last year, which could obviously change, but that's what we'll work against this week to get our kids ready.
All right. Well, Coach, anything else that you would like to add to this first show of the 2016 season on our new host station, 89.1 The Bash?
No, we're just really excited to get the season underway and hopefully have a great week of practice this week to get prepared for Friday night. And again, just really excited that you and Jason are going to be calling the game and our kids are going to get that exposure out on the airwaves and our fans are able to listen to it. I think it's just going to be one more great thing for Titan football.
All right, Coach. Well, that's all the time we have for today's show. Coach Hart, good luck on Friday night, and we'll see you after the game on the post-game show, and best of luck to the players. We would like to thank all of you for joining us here on 89.1 The Bash for Titans football with head coach Nick Hart, and be sure to catch us each week for your look inside the Gibson Southern Titans football team. Before we sign off, though, we would like to thank all of the sponsors of Titans football with head coach Nick Hart right here on 89.1 The Bash.
This has been Titans football with head coach Nick Hart on 89.1 The Bash. The show is made possible by our underwriting sponsors, Ziliak Enterprises, Vertical Tile, Total Seed Solutions, Tin Barge Seed and Turfgrass Supplies, T. Konya Distributing, United Fidelity Bank, South Gibson Grain, Shoe Carnival, Sandy's Pizza, Rusty Reeves FC Tucker MG Realtors, Reinbrecht Homes, Princeton Auto Park, Pole Concrete Construction, MyTech Systems, Mayflower Gardens and Gifts, Marshall Disposal, Lowry Company, Lewis Plumbing and Heating, Kissel Farms, Kiesel Enterprises, JL Farm Equipment, Jackson Seed Service, in memory of Darwin and Eric Kalis, Hobstadt Summerfest Incorporated, Freudenberg Mini Mart, DuBois County Garage Doors Incorporated, Deaconess Women's Hospital, Daylight Farm Supply, Cox Family Eye Care, Consolidated Grain and Barge, Carts Gone Wild, Gerald and Trudy Bledsoe, AgriGold, A&T Concrete Supply, A&B Contracting, and by Wabash Valley College. Join us next week for Titans football with head coach Nick Hart right here on 89.1 The Bash.